Good morning. This one is exclusively for people who are scuba diving, free divers more so actually, and it's exclusive for them. I'd prefer it actually if you don't do this, if you're not already au fait with the term called lung packing, or the exercise called lung packing. So this exercise is, this pose is to facilitate the ability to lung pack more effectively. The premise of it is that it stretches and opens and also facilitates the muscles that close with stress for sitting for long periods of time. For example, we get into a position, so sitting for a long period of time at a computer, we can slouch forward, and after a period of time we can become a little bit closed around these muscles here. So the apices, which are the top part of the lungs, can't expand fully. The first rib and second rib, and possibly even the third rib, get a bit consolidated. The clavicle gets a bit depressed, and over time, these areas just they shorten. The muscles that work against that are the accessory breathing muscles at the top, and the opposite position is the sort of position. So these two muscles work against each other. Often when we have been stressed for a long period of time, or overworked or overwhelmed for a long period of time, then the muscles up here just burn out. So the ones that go, they fatigue. They can't do what they were supposed to do anymore. So they either become really solid, or they become just totally, worthless. They're not doing anything. The muscles down here, if they get tight, they go into a state called tonic immobility, and that tonic immobilization is the kind of protection response to protect the heart and the lungs. And to breathe against these muscles is actually quite difficult, or to breathe in any sort of big inhalatory sort of fashion is quite difficult. So these poses and breathwork combined poses are here to help those people who are involved in holding their breath for some period of time, from time to time, especially free divers, like I say. So let's just do it and see what you make of it. So we start with it's a sequence really. So a sequence of, if you have not that much flexibility, then perhaps start with a cobra pose, like so. Simple cobra pose. Again, not to get too OCD about particular positions. You don't have to have your feet pointing and your legs together, but just to get into a position where you've got an arched back. It's as simple as that. An arched back, you're not arching it with a twisted sort of formation. So if you want to get OCD about things, just be straight. As straight as in just go in a sagittal plane sort of direction, so straight up. Okay, so from this position, we just do 3 breaths. So it's an ujjayi breath on the way out. So it's slowing down the out breath by slightly constricting the laryngeal muscles, and you're sounding a little bit like Darth Vader on a bad day sort of thing, or on a good day. You can also do that slightly with the in-breath as well. It's a little bit harder to do, but it is quite useful. So you're slowing the air from coming in that way. And so on. After you've done 3 of those, you can say this is the end of the out-breath on the 3rd one. Take a deep breath in. And then hold. Notice I'm not actually extending my neck. I'm not up like that in this position. If you extend the neck, you'll start to cut off the blood supply to the brain slightly. So the carotid arteries will start to become a little bit constricted. They won't have the same dilatatory capacity that they'd have if you have to keep your neck straight. So in a position like so. And that's the same with all of them, apart from the very last one, which I'll show you, and do go very careful with that particular one. So the expansion upon that is, if you feel flexible enough, you can start to either go up into a cobra pose with your hands out front, elbows bent, and do the same thing, or all the way up like so. So this is not the upward facing dog, this is just a cobra pose. It's extended so the pelvis is on the floor, the feet are not tucked underneath. And again, the rest of it, just don't get too anal about the positions. You've got an arched back basically, haven't you? It's an arched back and open shoulders. So the shoulders come back. Tuck the chin in slightly. 3 breaths again, so this is the end of the third one, and then in breath. Now with this one you can splay the hands apart a little bit and go into that seal-like position. Now what's happening whilst I'm doing that is I'm opening the muscles just here, but also the exhalatory muscles, which are from the xiphisternum down as well. So subdiaphragmatically, so below the diaphragm, these muscles down here are exhalation muscles. If I'm holding my breath at the end of the in-breath, you're actually stretching those open. So you're stretching the exhalatory muscles by holding at the end of the inhalation. Okay, next one is the camel. Do it very gently when you go on the camel, and again, don't extend your neck. So you can do it with a bolster, the camel. It's a bolster underneath. Bring the bolster right the way to the front, so then it gives you space at the back. One hand, two hand, and again, just open your chest. Open your chest and extend your back, but don't take the head backwards like so, because you will definitely cut off your carotid arteries like that. So I would have done the 3 breaths, and this is the end of the third exhalation. Now with that one, you'll notice afterwards you get a flow of warmth down your arms, because the brachial artery will be slightly constricted as well. So it will be slightly inhibited from flowing down your arms during the stretch, and then afterwards you get that freeing up. It's almost like it's like a river opening back up again, so any restrictions will open beyond. So you're helping the flow of the deep rivers of your vascular system. Now, okay, you can, if you want to, go on to the more advanced version, and that is like so. Again, don't extend your neck back. If you've done this for ages, you can, but don't do it to begin with. You notice I'm not holding for too long there. I'm not holding for too long because you don't want to overdo this. Just get used to it slowly to begin with. Hold for maybe 5 seconds, next time 8 seconds, next time. Maybe you can keep on sort of working on it week on week, keep incrementally increasing. So you're stretching these areas out, but don't go to the point where you're feeling dizzy and you're starting to pass out. So just check into it, titrate it. That's the chemistry term. Used to say you don't add two chemicals together and cause an explosion. You just slowly add the chemicals that are appropriate in a slow fashion, so not all of the chemicals all together at once and form some great big sort of nuclear explosion. Okay, I'll show you with the extension of the neck. Again, make of it what you will, but this starts to stretch out some of the accessory breathing muscles at the top then as well. So I'll just show you it, but yeah, probably don't do it unless you're really au fait with the whole thing. Okay, so that the next post I put on would be the lung packing. So just this is what you do as a prerequisite to open up the capacity of the lungs and the muscles that accommodate the lungs. So you have more of an ability to open those lungs to your optimal advantage.